Okay, so yesterday we started our text-dependent analysis by doing quotation response. So you read something and then you responded to it. How did it make you feel or what did it make you think? Today we're moving on to the next part of our TDA. And as we talked about yesterday, it's very important because it's going to be on your state assessments, your college papers, research papers, essays, and a lot of stuff here in high school English. So it's very important to know. What is it? What is a text-dependent analysis? It is a method that helps students make an evidence-based response after reading an informational or literary text. It is a text-based writing piece that requires students to provide evidence from the text to support their thinking about what they have read or watched, thereby demonstrating comprehension of the text. So basically, you're going to use the specific text that you read and cite certain evidence pieces in that as you write your paper. So I think this because in paragraph 7, it states that blank, therefore I conclude that blank. You're going to cite it directly from the text. So you're using it as a text-based writing piece, and you will have to provide that evidence to support your thinking. So whatever the prompt is asking, however you are answering that, you're going to have to show evidence of why you think that and how you came to that conclusion. Okay, so a TDA is going to use basic writing skills, which we've been working on, inferencing, synthesizing information, and comprehensive response. So when you're responding to the text, when you're doing a TDA, you need to show specific behaviors and understandings that are evidence that you are thinking within the text, beyond the text, and about the text. Within the text, this is when you are searching for and using information found directly in the text for writing responses that inform, explain, and or summarize. So this is when you read something and you're like, oh, in this paragraph it had a really good piece that led me to my conclusion. So you're going to cite that directly. So a prompt example would be, the two articles tell about ways that different animals sleep. Explain why animals sleep in different ways. That's your prompt. So then you would have to do your TAK, topic, audience, and other keywords to see what the prompt is really asking. And then you're going to do your TDA. You're going to see, oh, well, here specifically it talked about giraffes sleeping and why they do that. That's going to be very important for my response. So you might highlight that, annotating your text, so that you know you want to come back to that and use it in your text. So then you would specifically cite it. In sentence 18, it states that giraffes sleep standing up, or whatever they might do, because it helps with digestion or something. I don't know, I made that up, so don't cite me on that. Okay, so when you're reading something and you find it that's really interesting, oh my goodness, giraffes sleep laying on their back with all their legs up. Also, don't cite me because I made that up. But how do you know if that's evidence or if that's just an interesting detail? So we're going to do a little activity. First, evidence versus detail. How do you know the difference? Both pieces are information found in a text. Obviously, you read it there, so that's why you're thinking about it. Details are just interesting and they add to the text, but they're not necessary to the story. So, that's really interesting that giraffes sleep on their backs, but maybe that's not necessary. Is it? Is it not? You'll have to think about it. Evidence is precise facts, quotes, examples, etc. that are used to prove your point. So with that prompt of why do animals sleep in different ways, a giraffe sleeping on their back, that's a different way. That's probably evidence because it's very important for what we're discussing, what your prompt is asking for. Okay, so now we're going to do our little activity. Yesterday you read our paper about the Army dogs. If you want to go back and look at it, feel free. They're up on my cart up here, so feel free to come get it. But you should have one of your own in your folder. If you want to go back and look at that, you can. But our little activity is on these paper slips. So, first of all, we have our prompt. Right now, military dogs serve with honor but don't get retiree health care. Is this right? Write an essay explaining why this is fair or why it should be changed. That's your prompt. So go ahead and do your TAK, your topic, your audience, and keywords from the prompt. And then after you do that, that's just for practice, you're going to not each of you, 11 of you, maybe that is all of you, you'll be getting different slips with a direct quote from the story. So then you're going to have to work together and decide, is this evidence? Is this detail? Maybe you'll have some that you're not quite sure on, and that's okay. And you don't all have to agree either. You're all able to make your own decisions. So if you think number 1 is evidence, put it in your evidence column. If you think number 7 is just a detail, put that in your detail column. Or if you have some that you cannot decide on personally or as a group, feel free to put that in your question mark column. Okay, so you're going to need a piece of paper, do your TAK at the top, then write details, evidence, and then question marks in 3 different columns. Okay, so each of you go ahead and grab one of these, doesn't matter which number, and then work together to decide where they go. I'm just going to read them in random order, and then you guys can decide on your own. So, she knows the unconditional affection of the Marine who stayed by her side for 7 intense months in Afghanistan. A Marine who loved her so much he pursued the military until he was finally able to adopt her and bring her to Milwaukee. Do you think that's evidence? Do you think that's details? Or are you sure? Put it wherever you think it should go, and then continue on through the rest of them. Okay, I think that will probably be all you have time for today. So take your time working it and make sure you fill out your paper so I can look at it tomorrow to make sure you did your work. And if you get extra time, feel free to study vocabulary or work on any other thing that you might have to work on. Have a fantastic night.